I just watched the official kickoff press conference for George Groves versus Chris Eubank Jr. and I watched the face-off. And I'm actually quite surprised by how much bigger George Groves looks than Chris Eubank Jr. Now, obviously, I knew George Groves was a bigger man. He's been a career super middleweight, whereas Eubank Jr. is coming up from middleweight. And George Groves is a very big super middleweight. I knew that. But I didn't expect the size difference to look so pronounced when they came together face to face. George Groves really does look like a way bigger man than Chris Eubank Jr. Not just in terms of his body size, but even his height. Now, I don't know whether he was wearing some lifts in his shoes. Some fighters do. Klitschko, for example, would often wear some type of padding inside his shoes to make himself taller. He did it against Tyson Fury. He also did it against Anthony Joshua at one of the press conferences they were at. I don't know if George Groves is employing that same tactic. It's a psychological tactic. I don't know if he's doing that because I thought both of these guys were around the same height. I've seen Chris Eubank Jr. in person, and from what I remember, he was at least 5'11". George Groves is supposed to be about 5'11" too, or 5'11 and a half. They look more than half an inch in height difference between the two of them. Maybe George Groves is just wearing shoes with a thicker sole. I don't know. But still, overall, the size of George Groves looked quite imposing next to Chris Eubank Jr. He really did look like a man who was at least a weight division above naturally. In my Facebook boxing group yesterday, somebody was talking about how big they think George Groves is when he's not in training, when he's walking around. And people are claiming that he walks around at close to 200 pounds. And that he's admitted that he walks around close to 200 pounds. That's enormous for a super middleweight. So what, he's shedding 22 pounds? More than that, sorry, 32 pounds. Every time he fights, from 200 pounds down to 168. 32 pounds, that's a lot of weight to lose if he's really walking around at that weight. And I'm surprised he's able to perform. Maybe that's where some of his stamina issues in the past have come from. If that's really how big he's blowing up. To, 200 pounds from 168. That's a massive amount of weight. That's cruiserweight, for Christ's sake. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought of the weigh-in and the face-off. Both guys are obviously very confident, but were you, like me, a bit surprised by how much bigger George Groves looked? Again, I expected Groves to be bigger, but I didn't expect him to look that much bigger. Will it change my prediction for the fight? Will it change the way I see the fight going? Maybe. Let me know if it's changed your view on how you see the fight going. Most of you, I doubt it will have. Most of you who are picking Groves would have said, oh, well, I was going to pick him all along anyway. I knew he was much bigger and this, that, and the other. Cool. Well, I didn't know he was this much bigger. Maybe I will change. I know there's the style and all that kind of stuff that Groves has and the skills. But look, size matters in boxing. That's why we have weight categories. Yeah? Let's not discount how much size matters. Obviously, being a good fighter matters more than size. If you took the average guy from the street who was 210 pounds and put him in any kind of fight against Chris Eubank Jr., he's going to get destroyed by Chris Eubank Jr., even though Jr. is way smaller than 210 pounds, because the average guy in the street can't fight. All right? So skills are the most important thing in fighting ability, but when you're dealing with elite level boxing and the margins of error are so small, then size is actually a big factor. Yeah? Don't underestimate how much difference size can make in a fight. That's why in boxing they have the old adage, a good big un will beat a good little un. Meaning that you got two guys of a similar skill level, similar ability level, the one who's naturally bigger will usually win. So, will that be the case here with George Groves versus Chris Eubank Jr.? Let me know what you think about the press conference and the face-off. Let me know how you feel about my thoughts in this video. All right? It's happening. I'm out.